and welcome to episode 1 of Church Lady Knits. My name is Kristen, I'm your host, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as hookandgauge, and the show notes for this podcast can be found at www.hookandgauge.blogspot.com. I hope you've all had wonderful weeks. I hope you're all doing well. Some of you have probably come back to this channel and wondered what happened to the Hook and Gauge podcast. I don't really know how to phrase this. I just was feeling kind of weirdly about the podcast and kind of, I don't know. I just felt like I wasn't really being myself, and which is really silly, but I was contemplating just deleting everything and not continuing. But I thought, no, I really want to keep doing this because it's so fun to get to chat with you all and to kind of start forming community in this way. So I decided to continue, and also I was having a lot of self-doubt because I'm a fairly new knitter, coming up on like a year or so. I'm like, who am I to have a podcast? That's ridiculous, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I guess I talked myself back into it and said, okay, I'll just reboot and we'll try this again. So the name Church Lady Knits comes from, if any of you know the infamous Dana Carvey of SNL fame, playing the church lady on his segment Church Chat. I will link a clip in the show notes in case you are interested in finding out more about that, or if you just want to watch it. Very funny. Saturday Night Live is a sketch comedy show in the U.S. that spoofs all sorts of things, politicians, movie stars, everything. And the church lady is played by Dana Carvey. He's in drag and is probably, it's just so silly, so silly. It plays this typical, stereotypical, overly pious woman who just, it's just fabulous. So anyway, I will link a clip of that in the show notes. And I'm a church musician. I work in the church. I love my job. It's a great job, but I'm also a completely compulsive crafter. So it all seemed to go together that way. And it was kind of a fun, catchy, clever title. Hook and Gauge comes from my Etsy shop, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I thought Church Lady Knits would be a really fun name. And know that hopefully this will not be limited to just knitting. I do crochet. I don't know that I have any crochet to show you today, but I do some crochet. So there will be some of that and sewing, and maybe I'll show you some of my other fun crafty endeavors. So that's what's kind of new. Go check out the blog. It got a bit of a facelift. I've been playing around with the template. So what they call a responsive blogging template. So it supposedly adjusts itself for tablets and iPhones or phones. And I don't know. It's been great. It looks wonderful, but it has been a little bit finicky to deal with. So just go check it out and let me know what you think. So before we get started, I'm filming in my living room, getting some good natural sunlight. Just took the dog out for a walk to kind of get him to calm down. He may make some noise. He's come over here and is kind of laying over on the couch next to me. This wall is kind of a smaller wall. If I were on a second or third story unit, it would be a fireplace, which would be so nice, but it's not. It's just a wall. And behind me, I really struggled with what to do on this wall. Behind me, I've got some of these baskets, these like metal and wooden baskets that I've hung up, and I have some pictures, and I kind of want to put up some different pictures. These I just put up for now. These are some photos that I took when I was in Dallas. Minor tangent to show you what's behind me. This is a church in downtown Dallas. This is the Cathedral Shrine of the Virgin of Guadalupe. Long name, and it's so beautiful. It's a beautiful big Catholic church downtown, and they've added this bell tower they put in when I was in high school, so it's really not that old, but they blended it beautifully with the rest of the architecture, and it's just it's a kind of an iconic church downtown. Oh, I may have just screwed that up. Come on. Okay, well, it's just going to have to sit like that for a bit. And then this is really cool. I think that this belonged to my maternal grandparents. And we found it in a box of some of their things when I was going through it. This is a Duraflex Kodak camera. It's a kind of a Pentax kind of camera. And what's really cool, so it looks like this, and you pull this part up, and you actually look inside the camera. You hold it like down kind of your waist level, and you look down into it, and that's how you take the picture. And from what I can tell, this here is how you advance the film, And then this here is your little shutter button. So you take a picture and you advance the film. I have not figured out how to open it yet. That's next on my list of things. Ooh, wait. Did I figure it out? I may have figured it out. No, I didn't. So it's next on my things to investigate. If I can find it, what I would like to put up here, we have an adorable picture of my grandmother and grandfather from the 40s when they lived in Monahans, Texas. And you can tell the person who's taking the picture is taking it with one of these cameras because it's a woman, and her shadow on the ground in front of them, her arms are out like this, like she's taking a picture with the camera down at her waist. So it could have very well been taken with this camera, but I just love it, and I like to kind of have it on display. Whoop. And I don't know if you can see the picture. It's up this way. It's just another picture of that same church. It's a very beautiful church, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun to put up there for now. So yeah, that's what's going on behind me, and that might change week to week. We'll see. I still haven't quite settled on what pictures I want in there, but we're going to jump right into it, and I do have some finished objects. I'll show you what I have finished. This is a free pattern on Ravelry by Elizabeth Broussard, and it's called the Rhombais scarf. It's a loop scarf. It's not really a cowl. It's like a legit, like long. You see how long it is. It's a pretty lengthy scarf that you loop around your neck. For me, it looks better looped twice. This, I got this yarn. This is the Knit Picks Felici Sport in the boutique colorway. And I have been looking for this colorway for a long time. Juniper Grace got me a little bit obsessed with this colorway. She was making the Linden Mitts by Jane Richmond, and I saw it and thought, oh my goodness, those are all of my colors. It's just so beautiful. The brown and the red and the teal and the pink, and it's just so pretty. And to me, this is like 1950s, 60s Christmas. Like, it smells really good. I'll tell you why in a little bit. That was random. But it's like 1950s, 60s retro Christmas to me. And it also reminds me, when I was in middle school, I bought a scarf at the Gap. And it was all these like bright stripy colors. Different colors than this, but it kind of reminded me of that. And I knew I didn't want to make socks with it because I wanted it to be seen. Like, I wanted people to see it. But I also didn't really want to make a sock head hat because I just don't really like the way that hat looks. Of course, after I made this, I discovered the 2x2 rib hat, and that probably would have looked good in this too. But I decided to make a scarf, and so I went on Ravelry and was digging around, and somebody else had made a scarf, the Rhombais scarf, using the Knit Picks Felici, and it looked really nice. So I thought I would do it as well. It's a really easy pattern. Like I said, it's free. It's just stockinette on the bias. The only issue I had, this yarn is a wee bit splitty. I did order some of the re-release of the Felici from Knit Picks, and that does not appear to be as splitty as this yarn was. I was using Knitter's Pride Novas, which are the metal needles, and it was getting super splitty with that. And so I changed over to the Knitter's Pride Dreams, which are their symphony wood needles, and had a much better time with it. So I think it had something to do with the tips. So anyway, if you're having issues with the older Felici getting all kind of splitty on you, maybe change needles and see if that helps. I think I knit these up on a size 3 or 4. I cannot remember now. And I didn't cast this off that long ago. That's kind of scary. I did get a chance to, I did a crochet provisional cast on, and then it was supposed to be Kitchenered. And clearly my Kitchener needs some work. Toward the middle, it's okay, but at the edges, it's not. I'm not going to worry too much about it. My perfectionist tendencies, it's really bothering me. But I'm just going to put this at the back of my neck, and we'll call it a day. So this is the Rhombais scarf by Elizabeth Broussard. Again, highly recommend it. It was a fun TV knit pattern. It did get a little old after a while, so I actually used 2 skeins of the Felici, and I just stopped. I think I had 2 stripes worth left, and I just decided, 1, I wanted to end it on the brown because that's where I started it, and 2, I just was getting a little tired of it. So that is one of my FOs, and I'm really excited to get to wear that. The other thing that I finished was a bit unexpected. Which I'll talk about in a bit, I got Hannah Fettig's newish pattern book, Home and Away, while I was at my local yarn store, and in it was, first of all, tons of gorgeous patterns, but it was this simple hat pattern. It's just called the Simple Hat, and she has it written up for a bunch of different weights, and so I kind of went and looked in my stash and found this yarn. This is Blue Sky Alpacas worsted hand dyes, and I think it's the colorway Lagoon. I had lost the tag or the ball band, but I looked at their website, and I think it's Lagoon, I'm pretty sure. And this is a very special skein of yarn. This was probably the first really expensive yarn that I bought. And it was $22, and I thought that I was crazy for spending that much on a skein of yarn. And I got this back when I was just crocheting, so I put off using it for a very long time because it's definitely an Aran weight, and so you don't get as much yardage in one skein. And as a crocheter, I just, I didn't know what to do with it because I wasn't knitting at the time, and crochet takes up quite a bit of yarn. I just didn't know what I was going to make with it. So I left it in my stash. It survived several destashes, and when I saw the pattern in the book, which actually is a very similar color, I thought, ooh, I bet I could make that with my, with the Blue Sky worsted. So, I'm pretty sure there is alpaca in this, which is interesting because normally I'm really sensitive to alpaca, but this doesn't bother me, so it's interesting. But it's a very, very slight tonal variation. I don't know if you can see that in the yarn. Really beautiful. I have this much left, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but you can see it's a very squishy, bouncy, just lovely yarn to work with. It's like knitting with a noodle. It's just a very nice yarn to knit with, and this pattern is beautifully written, super simple, just like the title would suggest. And yeah, it was an easy knit. I think I did this in 2 nights. So it was super quick, easy, fun. Got to try out the 2 circular needle method in lieu of double pointed needles for the top, and that worked out really well. My knitting needle cable was maybe a little too small to do that, so it was a little tight, but it worked really beautifully. So I'm really pleased with this. It fits like a dream. I don't really like slouchy. I like berets, like those kind of slouchy hats, but I don't really like slouchy beanies. So this is really nice. This fits really, really nicely. And it'll be wonderful in the wintertime when I have to take the dog out for walks and all of that. So I'm gearing up for winter. But anyway, again, this is the Simple Hat by Hannah Fettig. So that's kind of it for finished objects. And that hat was kind of an unexpected one. I didn't think I was going to get that done. In terms of things I've been working on, I do have quite a few things on the go. First and foremost, I am really, really excited. I've got this in my little skein in the Big Wool project bag from the Anne of Green Gables kit that came out last year. Oh, love Anne of Green Gables. And I wasn't even knitting yet, and I just said, okay, well, no, I was knitting. I was just a very beginner knitter, and I bought the kit that came with Paula Emmons Feasley's shawl pattern and all of that. I'm like, I'm going to make it someday. In fact, I think I might start that this fall, just kind of like an homage to the anniversary of getting the kit. That was a ramble. I'm sorry. So one of the things that I learned how to do recently was to do magic loop. And this is a big deal. For those of you who were following my old podcast, you know that I've wanted to make socks for a very long time. And I tried the teeny tiny circulars. I tried double pointed needles. Really was struggling with the double pointed needles because they were so fiddly. The tiny circulars cramped up my hands after a while. And so one Sunday afternoon a few weeks ago, I said, you know what, gosh darn it, I am going to just sit down and figure this out. And I did. It took a little while, but I did figure it out. This is my sock. I'm using, blanked on her name, Susan B. Anderson's How I Make My Sock pattern. I did go on ahead and cast on for a 64-inch sock, and it does fit. It's nice. This is being worked up in the Patons Croix. You all know this. The Patons Croix blue rag stripes sock. You can get this at Joann Fabrics or, you know, probably AC Moore, Michaels, all those kind of bigger box stores. But I'm really loving it. I'm definitely getting the hang of it. I'm using ChowGoo US size 1s for this, and I'm liking the fabric. It's a nice, you know, dense fabric. And so far, so good. I'm loving the striping. The striping definitely kind of helps keep the project going. But my dog is up here, and he just very melodramatically rolled over and looked at me like, oh, I'm so sad you're not paying attention to me. Oh, goodness. Anyway, back to the socks. So I'm really liking how this is working up. This is the first sock, and I'm not too far away from doing the heel, maybe another inch and a half, 2 inches. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's definitely potato chippy knitting. I totally get why people love socks, love knitting socks. So, I may change my mind when I get to the heel, but for now it is really enjoyable. So I'm excited about that. That was a big breakthrough. I learned from that experience that I think with knitting, I tend to give up a little too easily. Not give up, but I just get disheartened. Because in the beginning, when you're starting and when you're casting things on, it takes a few rows for the fabric to develop and for the for the item that you're knitting to actually look like it might be correct. And so I just kind of have to keep reminding myself, just keep going, just do a few more rows and see, and if it doesn't look good, you can rip it back. But I think that's kind of what had been happening with me in Magic Loop, because the technique is not hard. Magic Loop itself is not hard to figure out. Like, I definitely got it. I watched a YouTube video, I was like, oh, that's how that works. Like, it seemed very intuitive to me, but then I would do it, and stuff didn't look right, and I'd rip back, probably needlessly. So I am trying to teach myself how to be a little bit more patient with my knitting in that way. So those are my socks. I'm excited to continue working on those. I need to remind myself to work on them because I haven't worked on them in a while. Next up, I have an object that I've been working on for quite some time, and this is in one of my new project bags, which we'll talk about here in a bit. This one has a little knitting sheep on it, and this is Maria Monska's Ria baby vest. Let me see, I can show you the picture. She has the Stitched in Sweden podcast, which is so lovely. I just love watching her podcast. This is what it looks like. Very, very sweet. A very sweet little pattern. So this project has been the death of me. Not because of the pattern, not because of the yarn or the needles or anything. I just work on this too late at night. That is my problem. And I am not paying attention, and I get off with my stitch counts, and then I end up having to rip back. I have completely frogged it twice and have ripped back to the garter section twice. But this, and so far this is the best, this is the furthest I've gotten, and I think I'm on a roll now, so I think we're good. This is what it looks like. Probably see. I'm trying to turn it around so you can see the back a little bit better. It's a darling little pattern, not difficult at all, just, again, you just have to kind of pay attention to what you're doing. I love these little diamond eyelet lace bits. I think they'll look even better when it's blocked out. I am making the 12-month size, and I'm actually working this up a needle size from what she recommended. I did get gauge on the smaller needles, but I didn't really like the fabric. It was a very tight fabric, whereas this is a bit looser. I am working these up on size 4s. These are Knitter's Pride Novas. And I'm using the recommended yarn, which is the Quince Chickadee, which is Quince's sport weight yarn. And I love Quince. I absolutely love it. It is the most soft, bouncy, just beautiful color palette, beautifully spun. It's just lovely. So it's a really neat little construction. It's sort of raglan shaping, and then it's a really unique way you bind off the straps and cast on some more stitches, and away you go. And it's really, really sweet. I really love it. So this is the sweater, and the buttons that I've chosen for this. You need 3 buttons. Let me see here. Fell down to the bottom. I got these at Warm and Fuzzy, which is my local yarn shop, and I got these precious little ceramic ducks. Hopefully you can see that. And they're so cute. They have like little bows on their around their necks. And I just think they're adorable. Rebecca, who owns Warm and Fuzzy, told me that these are actually washer and dryer friendly, which of course, because Quince is not super wash, this wouldn't go into the washer or dryer, but that is good to know. I do not know the company that made those buttons. Next time I'm in Warm and Fuzzy, I will for sure look that up and let you all know. But I just thought they were so cute. And I did test them. They do fit in the buttonholes. Really, really sweet. I haven't decided who this is for yet. I have many friends who are having babies right now, so if I can't think of somebody to give it to now, I'm sure in a few weeks somebody else will announce that they're pregnant. So it's been a really nice knit. Like I said, the lace section, very doable. You just have to keep your wits about you and not work on it super late at night when you're not paying attention to what's going on. So the other thing, speaking of keeping your wits about you, the other thing that I'm doing, for those of you who followed the Hook and Gauge podcast, you know that I took a class on cables and we worked on this Habitat hat by Jared Flood, which talk about a crash course in cable making. The whole hat is basically cables. Let me see if I can, yeah, that doesn't have any of the pattern on it, so you can see that. Isn't that crazy? Cables everywhere. So I was working it up in Malabrigo's Indicita, and which is a beautiful kind of variegated blues and purples and greens and yellows, kind of a really interesting colorway. And I made the mistake of putting it down for several months, and then I apparently had not marked correctly on my pattern what row I had left off on, and I could not for the life of me figure it out. So I picked it up one day and just said, okay, I'm going to sit down and fix this and work on it and whatever, and I was not on the right row. So I ended up frogging the whole thing and starting over. So this time I'm doing it in a solid. It's very impressive looking, I know. Right now I'm on the 2x2 rib, and I'm working this up in shepherd's wool worsted. That's my big old ball of it. This has been in my stash for a while, from Stonehenge Fiber Mill. I'm pretty sure this is the lime colorway. It's definitely a citron, citrusy kind of green. Yeah, so far so good. I'm doing this on some fixed circulars that are surprise Knitters Pride Novas. I love my Novas. And so I'm hoping that the cables will show up a little bit better on here, and that I'm hopefully just going to really keep at it fairly consistently and really mark on my pattern where I am. Because yeah, it's not good to get lost in your pattern. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more progress on that. I am making a lot of hats because, you know, like I said, winter is coming and I'll have to walk the dog quite frequently. And I just love to be able to throw them on. Right now I just have one hand knit hat that I've made, which is the Barley hat by Tin Can Knits. I finished that one last fall, like November-ish. So that was, or December actually. So that was really, really fun. So I'm hoping to kind of build up my collection of knit hats. So in terms of some really beautiful things, or as Danny of Little Bobbins calls them, lovely things that I've acquired, I was really naughty a few weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. Let me grab some things over here. I have to keep everything very precariously perched on things so the dog won't get into them. And I went to my local yarn store, which is Warm and Fuzzy, as I mentioned. And I went there for one particular skein of yarn, and that would be this one. This is Hedgehog Fibers, their sock yarn, and this is in pistachio. It's 100 grams, 50% superwash merino, 10% nylon, or no, 90%, math, 90% superwash merino and 10% nylon, and it's beautiful. I totally was enabled by Kemper of the Junk Yarn podcast, her Instagram photo of this, and I just saw that and thought, oh, I absolutely must go get some. Because again, these are kind of my colors, the teals, and I love this like brown section and this kind of blue section. So lovely. I was especially naughty because I went in not entirely sure what I was going to make of this. But now that I've been doing some digging on Ravelry, I'm thinking this might become a 2x2 hat because it would just be a really fun looking hat. Or I might make Mari of Mari Knits. She has the Creedmoor cowl, which would be fun because she's a Raleigh, she lives in Raleigh as well. And Creedmoor, we have a street here called Creedmoor, so I wonder if it's named after the street or if there's something else that it's named after. That would be Creedmoor. So I got the pistachio, which was naughty enough, and then I picked up a skein of Monarch. Oh, the reason is because I was, again, looking for projects that could use the pistachio, that could use a skein of Hedgehog, and I found the Traveling Woman shawl, and somebody had made it in this Monarch color, and it was glorious. I really want to cast this on soon because it would be fun to wear maybe in like November, late October. So this is Monarch, and it's like peaches and this kind of fun bluey black and the dark red and this kind of random shot of hot pink, which is interesting, and then this sort of deep reddy orange. It's so beautiful, and it's so soft. Oh, it's so soft. So those were my especially naughty purchases. And then just to add to the mix, I saw on one of the shelves that Rebecca had in Hannah Feddick's new Home and Away knits for everyday adventures, and I also had to have this. This is gorgeous. I leave this out on my coffee table because it is so beautiful. I'll show you. Just the photography in here is so lovely. Like, here's the simple hat that I made. Just beautiful. And she has some really nice finishing tips in here. And like tips for how to work things with different weights and understanding, you know, the various components to knitting. I'll show you one of the things that I really want to make is this Georgetown cardigan. Okay, this is one of them. Georgetown cardigan. And this is just such a beautiful book. Like, look at this. Hang on. Look at this picture. Isn't that lovely? Wouldn't you love a little reading nook like that? So beautiful. Now I will tell you, the other thing that grabbed me was the sweater that is on the cover, the Leslie. And I would probably make it in that color too. I don't really have any white sweaters. And this is done, this particular one is worked in Quince & Co. Osprey, which is their Aran weight yarn. So it'd probably work up quite quickly, which would be really nice too. So I picked this up, and I have had so much fun flipping through this. And again, I leave it out on my table. I had some friends over last Friday, and they were looking through it. None of them knit, but they were like, oh, that's really cool. You know, so it's a beautiful book. I was going to get the ebook of it because I do kind of like being able to put my patterns on my iPad, but I'm glad I got this. It's very nice. It's just fun to flip through and look at. And sometimes at night, like, I'll look at it while I'm laying in bed just to kind of, you know, just to put some positivity into my mind, you know, to get inspired about projects and things like that. So those were the things I picked up at my local yarn store. Then this next thing I ordered a little while ago, I have been wanting to try Tuft Woolens Wool Wash for a while now, really ever since I started watching Molly of A Homespun House, because she uses Tuft Woolens and always has such lovely things to say. So I follow them on Facebook, and Martha of Tuft Woolens had posted an update saying that she was going to make some of the blueberry lemonade sock soap that she sold specifically for SSK available in the shop. And my little dog just rolled over again. He's so cute. But anyway, so she posted that she was going to list some in the shop or do pre-orders. So I went on ahead and jumped on that bandwagon, and this came in last week. And it smells heavenly. I was waiting to block my Rom Bias and then some other crochet things I did forever ago until this came in. And I'm so glad I did, because it smells amazing. And Molly is so right. The scent lingers and it stays on the garment, and it's very moisturizing. Like, because of the lanolin, it's just so moisturizing, and I love it. So I've already used this twice, and I know this is going to last me a good long while. I cannot stop smelling it. It definitely smells like blueberry and lemonade. It smells wonderful. I don't know if she's offering that scent anymore or if that was just I know it was limited edition, but I don't know if she's done with the limited edition bit yet. I think she has an update today, I think, on the 29th. I think I read that on her Facebook page. But the other thing that I got was this sample of Mossy Woods. And I am so glad I got this sample because this would not normally be a smell that I would go for, but it smells amazing. I think I'm going to have to get a full bar of this. This is the body soap that she makes. And it is a little mentholy and definitely woodsy. You definitely kind of get that pine and that kind of wooded cedar kind of smell. But then there's a little bit of spice in there too. And normally I wouldn't go for this scent. I really wouldn't, but this is so nice. Like, I could see myself using this in the winter. I just want to sit here and smell it. It also, it has kind of an incensey kind of smell to it too. This would be a very good kind of gender neutral scent, maybe masculine, but I would definitely say, it appeals to me. And everywhere I put this, it scents up the entire drawer. For a while I had this in the drawer where I kind of keep my little needle sets, and whenever I'd open the drawer, it was just, whew, so much beautiful smell. So that is, again, Tuft Woolens. And she's wonderful. Very, very sweet. Very, very responsive. Very, kind. I posted on Instagram when I got this, and she responded. It was very, I always love that. I love that when people respond, like when business owners, when you share their product and they get excited about it too. So anyway, I highly recommend it. It's wonderful. Smells great. I haven't really had to actually wash anything where it's gotten soiled, but I'm sure it would work well for that too. But yeah, so that is my Tuft Woolens order that I got in. The other thing that was kind of an unexpected acquisition, a few days ago, I had a knock on my door, and one of my neighbors, who's an elderly lady, sometimes I would knit with her on Saturday mornings. We'd sit out. I sat out on my porch one day knitting, and she came over and said, "Oh, you knit? I knit too." And so went over and would sit with her and knit, and Miss Margaret was her name. And so a few days ago, I knew she was moving. She had just gotten to the point where she couldn't live on her own anymore. So they were moving her into an assisted living kind of facility. And she had stopped knitting because her arthritis had gotten really bad. This was about a month ago when she stopped knitting. And so I heard a knock on my door a few days ago. And it was her and one of her daughters. And she had a big paper grocery sack. And she said, I'm moving. I just wanted to come by and say goodbye. And I also wanted to bring you something because, she said, "You're such a sweetheart, and I know you love knitting, and I just want to leave these with you because I can't knit anymore." And she gave me a bag with 7 skeins of this Wool Ease by Lion brand. It's in this kind of forest green colorway. What is this called? Forest green heather. That's what it's called. And it was really sweet. Apparently she had purchased this to make little winter shrugs for all of her granddaughters. She can't do it anymore. And I asked her, I said, I would seriously make those shrugs for your granddaughters if you want. I would love to do that. She said, no, it's okay, no. And then I thought about doing it anyway, but I'm like, I don't even know how many granddaughters she has. I'm not sure, what sizes they wear. But anyway, it was both incredibly sad, but very, very sweet. So I now have 7 skeins of this, and it was just so kind, and it really touched me that she wanted me to have it, but it also just, and I know I'll get to this point one day, but getting to a place where you can't really do one of the things that you love because your body just won't let you do it anymore, and that just made me very sad. But anyway, I don't mean to be a downer, but it's really interesting. I've never worked with wool, I've worked with the Woolies Thick and Quick, but I've never worked with the actual Wool Ease, just the worsted. It's a fairly nice yarn. It's mostly acrylic. It's an 80-20 acrylic wool blend, and it's in the worsted weight. I got 7 balls of it, and I started flipping through the Home and Away book, and I might actually make the Georgetown cardigan out of it and just see how it works. I will not machine wash it. I would still hand wash it. But Yeah, because this uses a worsted weight. So that might look kind of nice. So I don't know. It doesn't have the weird, super shiny look that acrylic does. Um, in some lights, it kind of has a different color in different lights that you're in. Like right now, I'm seeing a lot of the kind of more gold heather in it. But in some lights, it looks really teal. I have no idea what it's going to look like on there to you all, but it's pretty soft. Wool doesn't bother me. Like when I was talking about quince, like that's a very nice, luxuriously soft wool. I find sometimes more of the commercial wools tend to bug me a little bit. Like the Patton's classic wool, that kind of gets a little itchy on me. But this doesn't feel too bad as I mash it into my neck. It just doesn't feel too badly. So we'll just see. We'll see how it knits up and how I like that. But that was very, very kind. And I was just deeply touched by that. And I'm going to miss her. She was a great neighbor to have. So that's it for sort of things that I've acquired, which is quite a few things actually. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the Etsy shop. So if you're not interested, no worries. We'll see you hopefully next time. Hopefully it won't be too long. So if you are interested, stick around because I have some exciting updates. A few weeks ago, I went on ahead and dove in and decided to work on really redesigning my bags. I have been selling project bags again for almost a year, and I like my current bags. This was one of my earlier bags, but this is basically what they look like. They're kind of, I mostly made this size. It's kind of a good size. This has my future hitchhiker shawl in it, so it hasn't been cast on yet, but it's a nice size. It definitely holds everything. Nothing falls out, so that's good. But as you can tell, it's kind of floppy. Like it's just kind of flimsy and misshapen looking. And in some ways it's good because it really means you can kind of like fold it up and like stick it into a purse or something. But I just don't really like this. Like, I don't know. I just didn't really like it. And also, you know, when it's sitting on a table, it doesn't really stand up. In the beginning, they have a bit more body because the interfacing hasn't quite gotten broken in. But once you use them for a while, the interfacing, you know, it gets broken in and it just kind of flips down like this. So I got really serious about trying out some different combinations of interfacing and lining materials, and I think I found a sweet spot. So this was the first bag I made. This has my Habitat hat in it. This was from a quilt that I got at Goodwill, and I'm pretty sure they still make this fabric. I think it's called Louis Use or Lou Use, I don't know. But it's one of those like easy quilts, you know, where you can get the big panel of fabric and it has basically all the little pictures on it and you just kind of quilt around the pictures. So this was the center. It has these little bitty sheep down here at the bottom and they're all looking up. And the reason why they're looking up is because all their buddies are flying away on balloons. I thought it was really cute. So I cut out that middle panel and tried it out. Just wanted to see what it would do. And I love it. So let me open it up. First of all, before I open it up, first of all, I've always wanted to add kind of a wristlet strap feature because it's nice. You can hang it on like, whoops, or you can drop it. You can hang it on a, like I have little hooks for my coat and my purse. So you can hang it up there if you need to remember to take it with you somewhere. This is a little keychain ring, so you can take this off if you want and just have the normal zipper. Or you can use it as a standing knitting bag. So you would just open it ever so slightly to allow your yarn to come out, and you could stand and knit that way. So I really like this, and it's a bit more durable than my zipper pulls were. I was having a really hard time finding jump rings that actually stayed on. And I know it wasn't operator error in that I was opening them the correct way and closing them, but they would just always come off. So this is much more durable. I have been using this bag for 2.5 weeks, maybe more than that, and it is still in great shape. I have stuck it down in my purse, I have thrown it in my car, I have not babied this bag, and it still is holding up really nicely. Let me open it up. Ooh, bit of a yarn wad that just came out there. and show you the inside. The inside of my bags now are just going to be lined with this very neutral cotton canvas. So I changed out the interfacing for a batted interfacing for batting, and then the inside is this really nice, durable, neutral cotton canvas. And what I like about this is that when you look inside, you see your project. Try to cover up the yarn wad, your project, and you're not totally distracted by pattern. And I would have never thought of that, but I was watching Stitched in Sweden with Maria, and she mentioned that. I think she got a bag, I don't know if it was from Love Sock Wool or from someone else, and I never thought of that as being, you know, something that would be helpful. But since I've started making them this way, I've really liked it because, you know, you open it up and you see what's inside. You see your project, you see if you've got any little accoutrements, like little stitch markers or hooks or whatever in the bottom. You see those too, and they don't get lost in the pattern. So this was my first one. And after I had made that and was so happy with it, I decided, okay, now I need to, you know, try making different sizes and kind of figure out all that. So I made some samples out of the sheep fabric. This is the sock. This is the vertical sock. My Rhea is in here. Again, has the little zipper. This one has my little tag on the inside. And this is perfect. This is holding my Rhea, which currently has 50 grams of sport weight yarn. But there is still, as you can see, there's still plenty of space up here at the top for more. This holds a pretty generous amount. So this is the sock size that I've been working on, and I am really excited because previously I was just making sort of the standard size project bags, and I knew I wanted to offer some in different sizes. So this is the sock, and then let me pull some of these off here. I also am going to start offering these standard size bags sort of in a vertical orientation. This one will be in the shop. That sock bag is mine, but this one will be in the shop. This is the standard size, and again has the wristlet zipper pull, a nice sturdy boxed bottom, and it's extremely generously sized. This one I'm calling a shawl size, will be what my standard size is now called. So there's that. More little knitting sheep. Then, let's see. I feel like I'm doing this all out of order and totally scatterbrained. This is another pattern that will be up in the shop. This is called Butterfly Ball. This is the standard size in the landscape orientation. Again, has a really sweet little zipper pull, kind of a batik zipper pull. This is the landscape orientation of the sock bag, which is, I actually kind of like this better. Because, you know, you kind of have a wider variety, so you can put like the ball here and your project there. Wider variety of space. So I will be offering these sock bags and the standard size bags in both landscape and portrait. And all of the actual project bags will come with a little wristlet. My Notions pouches are pretty much going to remain unaltered, but they will not come with a wristlet because you kind of just use those, you throw them into your bags. This is the one I'm really excited about. This is my sweater size bag, and it is quite large. So it has a really nice, generously designed 6-inch boxed bottom. One piece of thread there. 6-inch boxed bottom, and it is quite large. I have a sweater bag that I made for myself out of that sheep fabric, and it currently has my 3 balls of yarn to make my featherweight cardigan, and it could probably fit 3, 4, or 5 more. So it's a very generously sized bag, and these would be great for a sweater. They'd be great for a small Afghan project. It'd be really nice. So I am sewing up a storm. I've got some more fabric coming in today and on Monday, so I'm trying to get some of my other fabric sewn up. These are not finished. They need their little wristlet, and they need to have some of their threads clipped, but this is a sock bag. I think I might call this maybe Lullaby Moon. This is a standard size bag. A little bird king on there in hearts. And then in terms of, there are also sweater size bags and standard and sock in each one of those fabrics. in terms of new fabrics, which I'm so excited about, I am totally ready for fall to get here. I think I'm going to make some just standard size and sock size bags out of this fun squirrel, kind of Scandinavian squirrel print. And then this, I love this larger scale kind of fox print. This is called Give Thanks, which I find interesting. I mean, I guess it's the fall theme, but it's kind of these fun little foxes and cherries and trees. And then, I'm also really excited about this. I love these dapper foxes. They're so fun. And little fedoras with monocles and spectacles and argyle vests. I just think it's sweet. So that is sort of the shop update. The sweater bags will be $30. The shawl bags, which are the standard size bags, will be $25, and the sock size bags will be $20. And the update for that will be September the 7th on Labor Day. I do not have a time yet, but hopefully next time I podcast I'll be able to give you that. And also, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll get some more updates that way. Currently in the shop, to get ready for that update, I am having 50% off all of my current project bags, which has been so well received. Thank you to everybody who's bought a bag. It's gone much better. The sale has gone much better than I thought it would. I've really been able to kind of get some of that stock moved out, so I have room for all of these new lovely bags. So I am just so excited about that. I'm really excited about these new bags. I've had a blast making them, and I can't wait to make some more. So that is it for what is going to be in the shop and for the sale and all of that. I feel like this is a very awkward episode. I'm just sort of trying to kind of get back into the groove of things. So what's been going on in Raleigh? Basically, I've been sewing a lot of bags. I have been so excited and enthralled with that process again. I was getting a little burnt out before, but I feel so excited about the new features and the new design that's been very life-giving. Yesterday I made some jam, some blueberry jam. I went to the local farmer's market and picked up 4 quarts of blueberries and made jam. I had a bit of a boil over, which was a little terrifying. I forgot, if you've never made jam before, especially blueberries and strawberries also do this. Before they get to the hard boil stage, it kind of goes through a froth stage where they get real frothy, almost like a head of beer. And when it got to that stage, I had a pretty epic boil over where I think I lost about a jar's worth of jam to the stove. So that was a little bit terrifying, and I almost gave up, but I said, okay, no, I can get this cleaned up, we can move on, it'll be fine. And the beauty about jam is that it's so easy to clean because it's just fruit and sugar, so it really wipes up easily. It's hotter than Blue Blazes, but it does clean up pretty easily, so you can move back on, get back along with it. So I ended up with 7 half-pint jars of jam, which was great. I think next weekend I might go and get some more blueberries and make some more, because I do like to give those as Christmas gifts. I like to make homemade bread and do that for our church staff. So I think I'm going to have to make some more before blueberry season is totally out. It is getting so close to fall here. It's just, the weather is teasing us so much. Like, we'll have these really nice moments where it's in the 70s and there's a cool breeze, and it's just, I'm just so ready for fall. And then it gets really hot again. So it's kind of warm outside today. The dog and I went for a walk earlier. It's probably in the upper 80s, although it's now overcast, so I'm wondering if that'll cool things down a little bit too. But I'm so excited for fall. It's definitely my favorite season. I just love it so much. And, you know, it's busy. Work kicks off around this season, but the weather, the crispness, the coziness, the spiciness of fall, I just love it. I love the season. Work is getting pretty crazy, but it's good. It's wonderful. You know, it's sort of like, maybe not as intense as school, but we do kick off our programmatic season this fall, so there's kind of this back to school, back to work kind of feel. I'm really excited about it. So it's going to be good. I am super excited also because I snagged a homespun house bag. It's not here yet. I just on a fluke this past week looked at her shop And I've never been able to catch one of her updates because she's so popular and her bags are so popular. But I caught one this time, and I'm so excited to show it to you because it reminds me of something that I own. So I'm very excited, Molly. I cannot wait to get your bag. I've wanted one of your bags for a long time, so yay. That's pretty much what I have. Ooh, I'm going to show you something. If you're easily offended, you might want to look away. I went to my local independent bookstore today, and I was going for a different book. I've been wanting to read Milan Kundera's, is that how you say Milan Kundera? His book, The Unbearable Lightness of Being. It was recommended to me by a few friends, but I couldn't find it. However, while perusing the philosophy section, I did find this book, and I'll leave that in there. I'm not going to say the title. I'll let you read it. And I have been wanting to read this book for a while. It is by Aaron James, who's a philosopher. Rather good-looking, scruffy dude, if I must say. And it's basically the theory of jerks. Like, why do jerks exist? And what types of jerks are there? And how do we deal with them? And how do we, you know, notice those traits in ourselves, I think, and avoid becoming them? It says back here, I'm going to substitute the word for the word jerk. Jerk management begins with jerk understanding. Finally giving us the concepts to discern why jerks disturb us so, philosopher Aaron James presents a provocative theory of the jerk to explain why people exist, especially in an age of raging narcissism and unbridled capitalism. We get a better sense of when the jerk is best resisted and best ignored, and a better sense of what is and what is not worth fighting for. So, I'll let you know. I'm a few pages in, and so far it's been delightful. He's very intelligent, very funny, thought-provoking. So we'll see. We'll see how I like this, but I just want to pass that along. I don't find him offensive. It's definitely not offensive. Provocative, but I wouldn't say offensive. I think he's very, you know, very witty. So anyway, that is it. Sorry, this has been kind of a rambly episode, but I hope you all are well. Go check out the blog, and we'll see you back next week. Bye! I lay sleeping, I saw